What is up, everybody? Hope you guys are doing well. Last week we started working on the first half of School Spirit, which is number 152. We're going to finish that up this week, okay? So that is on page 29 in your book, if you were not already there. We did from measure 1 up through measure 20, so we stopped at measure 21, and we're going to finish out the rest of the piece today, okay? Same thing as last week, where I'm going to be talking to the entire band, so I'm going to be putting people in chunks together. So I may not talk about your instrument for like a minute, but I'm going to come back to you pretty quickly, okay? So we did the first half. We're going to start right where we left off at 21, and the first group of people I want to talk to is flute and trumpet, because you guys, it's fairly similar to what you already have, okay? The only thing that really changes is when we get to measure 28, when we have those 4 eighth notes and the crescendo that lead into the half note. We are going to be taking the first ending, okay? We are going to be taking the first ending. So I'll start at 21. It sounds, again, very similar to how it did back at 5. It changes up a little bit at measure 28 when we have those eighth notes with the crescendo, okay? Here we go. Rest. Okay? We do go up to that high note. For flute, that is our high C. For trumpets, that is our high D. We only go up to it just that one time. Okay? Now, when we take the first ending, we go back to measure 5. We don't go back all the way to the beginning because the repeat sign at the end of the piece, okay, is telling us to go back, but the repeat sign that tells us where we go back to is at measure 5. If this symbol did not exist towards the beginning of the piece, then we would go all the way back to the beginning, but that's not the case in this piece. It starts at 5, so we go take the first ending, come back to 5, and then play from 5 all the way through, okay? So if I did that, and I was flute and trumpet, and I went back, I took the first ending, went back to measure 5, I play through all that music again, okay? And then the only difference is between the first and second ending is you're just holding out your half note a little bit longer, and then adding a quarter note right at the end, okay? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to start at measure 29 to show you what it's going to sound like with the second ending, okay? This is the second ending at 29. Okay? Just like that. So the next grouping of people is clarinets. So clarinets, you guys have almost the exact same rhythm as what the trumpets and the flutes just had. You're again still doing a harmony line, but we're still gonna play through your part. Almost the exact same rhythm. There's a few moments where the other people had quarter notes and you just have a half note. Okay? Here we go. Clarinets at 21. Rest. Okay? And the same thing I just told the flute and the trumpet is we would take the first ending back to measure 5. Okay? Back to measure 5, we go from measure 5, play through everything again, and then take our second ending. So I'm going to play from 29 and take the second ending this time. Here we go. Okay? It's very straightforward, relatively simple. Okay? All right, the next grouping of people is my alto saxes and my French horns. Okay, your part again at 21 is similar to what you played back at 5. It does change up a little bit at 28 when we have those eighth notes, okay? And same thing that I just told the clarinets is you're playing a very similar rhythm as the main melody that the trumpets and flutes are playing. It's just there's a few moments where when the main melody is playing 2 quarter notes, you're playing a half note. Otherwise, you're playing the exact same rhythm, okay? Here we go. This is alto sax and French horn. guys have something that the other parts did not have, and that's in the second measure of the first ending, you have those 4/8 notes, okay? And the reason that we have those 4/8 notes is because the main melody and the harmony people, they're resting in that measure. So we don't want there to be complete silence as we transition back to measure 5. So those 8th notes that you guys play there, they're kind of a filler to help bring us back in at measure 5, okay? So again, same thing with all the other instruments. The first ending and second ending. When we take the second ending, it's pretty similar to the first ending. We've just changed it up just a little bit. So I'm going to start at 29 and play the second ending for French horns and alto saxes. Okay. And last but certainly not least is my trombone, my euphonium, and tuba, as well as tenor sax that's playing the bass line. And you guys' stuff, again, at 21 starts out very similarly to what you played at 5. It does change up a little bit at 29. The 8th notes that you guys have at 28 are different than what everybody else is playing. What everybody else has been doing is just the same note 4 times. They've been going 1 and 2 and, okay? Where you guys have it a little bit different. You change every single 8th note. 1 and 2 and, so you're coming down, and that's different. Rhythm-wise, the exact same, but note-wise, a little bit different. Okay, yeah. So let's start at 21 again, and we're gonna take through the first ending. Okay, here we go. Now, I messed up one note right there towards the end. But in the second ending, same with the French horn and the alto sax, those 4/8 notes that you play in the last measure of the first ending, that's what helps bring us back to measure 5. Okay? Now, the bass part here, I mean, it's kind of going all over the place, but it's a really, really important line because that's kind of what keeps us moving along, keeps us pushing at the tempo that we want to go. Okay? Now, the second ending, it's a little bit different than your first ending for the lows. That's different than everybody else. You do have 4/8 notes that are coming down, bum, 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 okay, which nobody else in the band has. Nobody else has that part. So you're really the driving force there that leads us to that one quarter note that we all have at the very end on beat 2. Okay? So this is trombone, euphonium, and tuba, tenor sax at 29, taking the second ending. Okay? And what I told you guys first time when we were doing the first half of it is to make sure that we're using a little bit of separation in between these notes because we wanted to have a very light kind of bounce to it. Okay? So, again, this is normally a piece that it would actually be the opening piece we would play for our concert that actually, believe it or not, would have been tomorrow if we were going to have the concerts. But we will probably, when we come back next year, I still will want us to kind of pull this out and just kind of play through it. And it'll be nice to kind of, throw it together and still rehearse it and kind of hear what it sounds like. Because it is a really, really fun piece to play. Okay? If you guys have any questions, as always, feel free to let me know, and I hope to see you soon. Love you, miss you.